Well,
Uh, This is my sister Renata, and I'm Rose, and this is Rose Casanova's channel. Hi, everybody. And this is just Renata and I talking on the phone. This is our daily
hi, Rose.
routine, and we're trying. I'm trying to. I wanted to. We talk about a lot of stuff. I process a lot of stuff with you, and I think it's really Some of the stuff's really interesting, and I think it actually is really helpful for me, and I think it's like some of the conversation, the subjects of conversation, I think could be helpful for a lot of people. A lot of times we wish that our call was being recorded or broadcasted it, because it's like really like just regular issues that women deal with on a daily basis that aren't really talked about publicly. Correct?
Correct.
Is that what you kind of think too?
Yeah. I mean, yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, um, but what were you gonna say earlier? You were saying you want to talk about something.
Oh, I was just saying, like this morning I woke up feeling really shitty. And like if I looked on the news, or if I even, like, I don't go a lot online and like look at I'm not friends with a lot of people that are sort of, the beautiful people, or stuff like that. But I do notice that a lot of people only post like the good sides of themselves.
Yeah. I definitely thought that I was not one of those people, but like I was saying, like somebody said, "Oh, your life is so. It looks like your life is so, good." And I was like, "Really?" And then I looked, and I only had pictures of like Halloween, Christmas, photos of like these highlights that a lot of people have, but there was nothing in between. There was nothing that wasn't, I wasn't posting pictures of just basically sitting around depressed or just watching TV or whatever. But and it's like, why would you know what I mean, why would you post things um that aren't highlights, but then at the same time you're like you're creating this picture
Right.
that with unintentionally creating a picture of just the highlights of your life. But at the same time, I think because I'm from a older generation, it's like I would never send a photo by mail or email of us just sitting around doing nothing,
on your,
or
on your
having dinner.
devices.
Yeah, right. So it's like, so of course I'm going to post stuff that I think is cute. And then, but it does create this picture. So it's almost like we're living, we're, I was unaware that I was living like sort of, and people say, "Oh, like you have a nice life," rather than, "Oh, that's a good picture," or cute
Yeah.
picture. It's like there's enough pictures to sort of formulate an idea that, my life is good.
Right.
Um,
So you're basically publicizing a story, but you didn't even know it. You weren't
Right.
even aware of
I'm
it.
inadvertently publicizing or publishing, like, like I have this great happy life, and my kids are great and perfect, and I'm perfect, and like I'm wearing a bunny costume on Halloween, and then Christmas it's not my life.
Right. No, I'm shocked that you had a bunny costume on.
I did. I had a bunny costume on.
I
Wait, I
know.
think. Oh
That's
yeah.
that's
So
pretty
yeah,
funny.
right. And the reason why I wore that bunny costume is because my stomach was so bloated that it's the only costume that was comfortable. So it's like, like, should I have said that? Should I have said, "Oh, my stomach is 60 inches right now. I have to wear this costume that, where I can basically just hang out underneath it." You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah.
but I didn't say that. Instead, I just went, "Look at me, I'm a bunny." Oh, so
That's
yeah.
so funny, because I actually, I talk about I don't want to focus on your stomach, but I actually use your stomach, your 60-inch stomach, as an example for a lot of people that
Of just
are,
how bad it can be. Yeah,
yeah, about how
it was
bad it can
actually
get.
66 inches, and that's when it went down. So it was probably more like 70, 72, 74.
Right.
Um,
That's when we
and
measured.
whoever's watching, I was not pregnant. Okay. Like,
Right.
yeah, I was not pregnant. This was just, I was going through something in my, with my health, that my stomach was just bloated for seemingly no reason at all. But apparently it was from benzodiazepine withdrawal. Um,
Right.
but yeah, so back to, yeah, so you woke up, and then you decided do a post after we were talking about, wait, I don't want people to think my life is all like, roses and, butterflies. You know what I mean? Um,
Yeah, because I felt kind of bad because I'm like, wow, I feel like shit today, and I felt like shit this whole week, like for the past 3 days, I guess it's been, and like in a really bad place. My head is
yeah,
going, no lie, like 100 miles an hour with a story that is, some of it's true, but of course a lot of it's really blown out of you know proportion because that's what your head does, and then talking about it and trying to process it, it was exhausting. And today I just feel like, oh my god, I feel so crappy. I actually woke up thinking, like, first thing I thought to myself is, I'm going to research CBD oil. Now, okay, I've taken CBD oil. It gives me a really bad headache. I can't take it. So why why I'm going there, because I'm looking for something to stop whatever it is that's going on.
right.
Like
Yeah.
fix it. I got
I
to
have
fix
the
it.
same issue. And well, even if you tell people, like, I mean, CBD oil is just an example, but if like with, let's say mom, she'll say, have you tried the CBD oil? And I'm like, well, yeah, I did, but it didn't work. And it made me, like, it's same thing, headache. So what are we supposed to do? Take it anyway? You know?
Yeah, it made me feel really groggy and not, but and also what I think it is though, it's this wanting to fix and stop
Yeah.
this feeling, and that's actually, now I realize that when I start thinking, looking for stuff to fix my problem, whatever it is, that's a
Yeah.
red flag. That means I need to, like, okay, what's going on here? Like, stop. And, like, what's wrong with being here with this feeling? What's wrong with feeling this bad? Yeah,
Right. So,
right,
yeah. So like like we're almost willing to do something we know doesn't work just to have something to do. Like,
right,
well, I took CBD oil and I'm still feeling crappy,
right,
or convince ourselves that it made us feel better. Yeah, rather than, like you said, just like saying, okay, well, maybe today I really do feel like crap.
right. And I think our whole culture is trained to do that. It's like, oh, I feel bad or depressed today. Oh, do you want, maybe you should make an appointment with a therapist, or,
Right. You
instead
can't
of,
say exactly. You can't even say like, I've been really feeling down. Like I just kind of feel crappy. I think I want to just lay down. I'm tired. It's like, well, let me fix it.
right,
Like we
like,
gotta fix
this needs to be fixed. And,
it's the
and
pill culture.
I still have a lot of, it's a habit. It's turned into a habit, and I'm trying to break that habit. Like, why do I got to fix anything?
Right. And
Yeah.
yeah, like instead of, and it really is this pill culture. Like we're like, basically brainwashed, indoctrinated to say like, oh, we need a pill to fix it. And it started when we were little kids, like, here's an aspirin, honey, take your
Yeah.
medicine. So it's like by the time we're this age, we're completely trained, you know?
Uh-huh. Wow, wow. I think John left a message on the thing. Left a comment. It says, swap glasses again. I don't know what that means.
What we're supposed to swap glasses with each other because we're supposed to, like,
Wait,
through
I
the
gotta go
phone. Here
this
you go. Take mine.
you're on this side. So it looks like I'm giving you my glasses right now on the thing. Yeah, there you go. I
This
don't know
way.
what, I think he's watching. I'm not sure.
I think he's joking because we can't swap glasses.
Yeah,
Um,
I don't know why. But maybe the glasses are real. What's wrong with the glasses is they cause a glare on the camera, and you could see a
I
reflect.
know I'm sitting in front of a window, but then I can't see you. So what am I supposed to do? Unless I get real close like this. Hi, Rose.
Yeah. You look good.
Yeah,
You
we'll
look
just
real
talk
cute.
like this.
There you go. Oh, you look
But
super
yeah,
cute.
so anyway, we're stuck like yeah, we're stuck like sort of, and then when you don't have something to do or take, it's like there's an emptiness. Like what
Right.
you're like sort of like I need to put something in here. Um
There's a huge emptiness. That's totally. So, like, I mean, for me, I did a lot of stuff to, like, fill that discomfort.
yeah, me too. I already talked about benzo belly.
Right. So, but I mean, I was like, so we could go through the past of, just the normal stuff that everybody feels that discomfort with. I've done it, and
Right.
sometimes too much, and you know?
Yeah, until like you're at a point like with drinking where it's like and benzos to where it's like, okay, I'm completely numb and I still don't feel right, you know?
Right.
Um, I mean,
Exactly.
like completely numb. Like you could smash your leg into a wall and you're like, whatever. Just
Right. I
keep on
could
going
like
on.
crush my fingers and I wouldn't feel it.
Right. And yeah, and then it's like I'm covered from head to toe with bruises that I didn't even feel the impact, you know? So I mean, like emotionally, like I'm a mess because I'm not even, it's like, people are, possibly like, being emotionally horrible to me and you know
You
what I
don't
mean?
even,
And
right.
yeah, I don't even, I'm just like, just keep on moving, just stay alive. Like there's not much joy, you know?
Yeah, I hear you. So yeah, so what do you do when you're like now when there's nothing to reach for? You can't reach you know what's there. Like even like if I go into my cabin, I'm like, "Oh, I'll maybe take a vitamin D and maybe it's this I didn't get enough sun. Maybe I'm depressed cuz it's winter's been so long or whatever." But it's like, I mean,
I
everyone.
mean, I guess we should be able to do something though. It's like, I know if I move around, I feel better. So I just say, well, maybe I should just move around,
Right.
like, especially if there's actual pain,
No,
like you kind of don't want to just sit there in pain. But yeah, like with these emotional states, like you were talking about, sometimes like maybe sitting there is probably what you need to do.
or just moving, but like doing stuff that's actually within you, so your body wants to move, so go move. You're not actually, avoiding what's going on. You're actually nourishing your body, or you want to eat something, then eat something. But there's always the chance with eating and stuff that you can like eat too much sugar when you're in these states, or drink a bunch of coffee to like wake you up again because you're feeling down or whatever. So you have to
Well,
there's
yeah, then you're like using the food, like without using food as a drug, I guess, without
right,
like, but still like you're like, okay, well you have to eat healthy and then yeah, so it's kind of confusing. But
right,
yeah, the using caffeine and like it's almost like you have to say, okay, I'm just going to eat clean, you
right,
know
yeah,
I'm going to move around. And but yes, but these moments of like, and sometimes longer than moments where we're like not allowing ourselves and we're kind of being told not to feel the way we do if it's bad in any way. And then it kind of goes back to our photos. Like it's like we're only showing, like,
right. Oh yeah,
right, we're only
I'm
showing
only gonna
good
show you.
things.
I mean, I met a friend at the spa, and she took a photo afterward, and I was like, you're not gonna post that photo online. I mean, it was like I didn't look good, and she looked so cute, and I felt like I looked so
Of
old. And
course.
what?
I said, of course.
Yeah,
Don't,
and I'm like,
yeah,
I was like, you could totally tell I'm old and that I don't get Botox because I have this, this thing here. But I'm like, but I
yeah.
refuse to get Botox, and that's another thing. It's like, why do I even have to say I refuse to get Botox?
Right. Yeah, like you automatic. I was just gonna say when you said bow tie, I was gonna say, yeah, me neither. And then I'm like, but I did, just by doing that. But yeah, it's like we have to make an excuse of why we're not like taking care of ourselves when it's not taking care of yourself.
No,
It's
getting
like,
Botox is not taking care of yourself, and neither is putting on nail polish. It's not
right. It's like,
taking care. No,
but it's like, yeah, but like the perception is like you're, oh well, she's kind of lazy, or she just, like she's not kept right.
yeah,
Um
she doesn't take care of herself.
Yeah, that's it. Like she doesn't take care of herself. When you're like, no, this is just me. Like this is me, without plastic.
Right. Without, yeah, without artificial like frosting,
Right.
like
Without
a
artificial enhancement. Yeah.
right.
And
Yeah, it's like
then
not
we're like moving into this, like, do we have a filter? No. Maybe we should get one.
right on the
We need
camera.
a filter, Rose.
Yeah, I know. Like, let's get one of those. I'm sure they have a Skype or YouTube filter that we could put on and make, give ourselves some bunny ears and a super smooth complexion, and make us look, 30 years younger.
Yeah, and if we're going that far, we might as well stuff our bras and stuff our the back of our pants so we have diaper butt. You so we too can look like we're wearing a diaper, a loaded diaper, you know?
Fortunately, we don't. But neither of us need to stuff our bras, which is a good thing.
Right. But yeah.
But yeah, but yeah, I hear you. I could
Well,
definitely.
and you can't see the bottom half, but I mean that's like what it's extreme. It's come oops, sorry. It's come to like an extreme of like what next? Like okay, the filter, like well that's where I'm going to draw the line.
Right.
Injecting my face, that's where I'm going to draw the line. And but then if you do nothing, you're sort of like a slacker, you know?
Yeah,
Um
and if I with YouTube videos in general, people our age are they're filmed in this very small box, and they have the lighting perfect, and I put my lighting pretty good, you know what I mean?
yeah,
But they put like the filters on, they do the makeup tutorials. Most YouTube videos that are geared toward women over 50 are about beauty, makeup, the way you dress, how to keep your body in shape, like uh, how to not have bat wing arms and stuff like that. And that is when you look up YouTubers over 50. Yeah,
yeah,
that's what comes up. It's like, really,
yeah,
there's like no one just like being like for real. Like that's, I mean, that part of life is so small, like putting on your makeup or whatever. Most of life is trying to just be in this body.
yeah.
Yeah, like
This unenhanced body, yeah.
right. And
Um
like in the raw body, like just being, and in this mind, and how do you, and in this world, how do you negotiate this world, you know?
right.
And
Yeah, well, I mean, we're kind of probably for our like demographic, we're probably, the least enhanced, but I still am like, should I take off my glasses? Should I put them on? I can't see.
yeah,
Um,
I know I can't
so
see either. So
so there's still this, yeah. So, but with the photos, it's like, am I really gonna post photos of myself that are just, like,
bad.
but when I'm eating, you know what I mean? Like this sort of like just this, but so it's kind of, but I mean, I think that it's like we're creating this picture that we're like inadvertently creating this picture that's glossed over. And so there's sort of like this back end to it too, where you're like, well, I don't want to do that. So maybe I should post bad stuff of myself. And then it's just like, well, am I really, do I have to have a story with my photo? Like, it's just kind of like, are we like our social media? Like we're supposed to show, it's really confusing. I think, like, what are you supposed to do?
Yeah, it's confusing for me. I think it's, I mean, is it because we didn't grow up with it and it's new to us? Or because it seems like, when you, but is it just as confusing for like, a 10 or 11-year-old? You have kids, is it just as confusing for, a young teenager?
Well, because they're younger, they're not like hit with this yet, but I'm sure it's going to get to that, at some
Right.
point, like into the early teens. But I think that, it's I think that, they're probably gonna post pictures and do that. But I don't know. I mean, are you supposed to make a whole life or are you just supposed to make like the highlights,
Yeah, I mean, I guess it depends, but I think that there's probably a lot of kids or young people out there walking around going, looking at these pictures of, especially the more publicized social media, influencers, going,
Yeah,
why don't I look that good, and how come they're always happy or look always so good, and everything looks so good in their life, and they're like, you feel really shitty when you compare yourself to that. And I'm just learning to how to not compare myself to the stuff outside of me, and I'm in
yeah,
my 50s. So I
yeah,
can't, it's, I don't think kids are really taught that. And if they are, they don't really understand what it means, because that's, you understand that, what that means with maturity, I think.
right.
Like what
I
it,
guess sorry, what you could do though is like for me, I was just when you were saying that, I was thinking, okay, take 10 pictures of yourself over the next 2 months. Now, now look at those like and say, like, is that, like that's what you're seeing. You're not seeing, the I'm not feeling good. I'm laying in bed. You're not, like that sort of. So it's kind of like, yeah, but I think that when they, of course, when they look at, say like the Kardashians or something, it's like there is this like they always look beautiful. They're always made up. They're
Yeah.
always, and it's like, and I mean the substance of the material too is like so surface. So it's like there's, like I'm sure like even having like real deep feelings about things is sort of kind of like, is there something wrong with me? Like, am I
Oh
normal?
yeah. Like having an existential crisis is now it's basically medicalized.
Really? Because I just had one about within the last year.
Well, I mean,
Um,
yeah, if you would have gone and said what you were feeling without they would have been like, "Well, maybe you should try some Prozac." You know?
yeah,
Yeah, basically an existential crisis if you're going through one in your 20s, like just a regular old, the questions that every kid or, asks is
right.
now basically a medical problem.
Do you know what the name for it is?
It's just depression.
Oh, okay. I thought
Yeah.
maybe it had
When you're going
like it
through
had
it,
a world identity DSM, you know what I mean? Like it just
right, like
something
where
like
do
that.
I fit in and what's the meaning of life and all
No, I
that stuff.
thought like it had a label.
No,
Um,
it will, believe me. Like when every 20-year-old goes through an existential crisis, let's figure out, what sickness that is. Like let's make a
well,
sickness for
yeah,
it.
what pills we can give them. Yeah,
Right. And it's the
exactly.
same with menopause. So menopause has become a medicalized a problem. So now instead of like, oh, you just go through menopause like everyone else has for how many years now? So how long have human beings roaming the earth going through menopause?
Right.
It's like all of
No,
a sudden
no.
it's like, oh no, it's a huge problem.
I guess if there was a way to say like, okay, you can alleviate some of these symptoms by, just whatever, like doing, say meditation or something like that. Or even like, some like, use that hand cream or whatever. But it's like you're not trying to prevent menopause. You're just trying to like make yourself feel better in that moment. And if people like understood that you just like it's okay to like feel better in that moment, but like the inevitable is there, like you're just
Right.
right. You're just trying
You
to get
you
through the day.
cannot prevent menopause. It's like puberty. So they
Right.
have a new drug now for puberty.
They do?
Yeah, it's yeah, it's for when kids are going through puberty, the depression that they go through or whatever.
Oh my gosh.
It's like, oh my God, seriously? I can't. It's not out yet. I don't know what it is. I think I read about it last year. It was being, whatever, tested or whatever. But it's that menopause is basically a medical problem now. Rather than just
Yeah.
it's not though. It's just life. And I understand.
Well, I guess pregnancy is a medical problem too then.
Oh yeah, that's
Oh,
for
here's the
sure.
pills for pregnancy. We got to make you feel different. We don't
Are
want you to feel pregnant.
are you
Um,
kidding? Being pregnant is like one of the biggest money makers in medicine like ever. I mean, they just find
oh, yeah, I guess yeah, so it's like the whole idea of even having a baby at a hospital, like it's you're sort of like, wow, is something wrong? You know? Like why am I at the hospital?
yeah,
All
I
of a
know. Like why am I at the hospital because home birth is too dangerous. They've made it so but these
right, which
days
I did. I went to the hospital on both, times
yeah,
because I thought thing if something happens, I want to be able to go right into the OR. I want to be able to, like I
right,
want the baby to be a baby doctor to be standing by. But
right.
yeah, I mean, I guess that's a little extreme. Like probably working on like how you felt this morning is like, you know what I
Yeah,
mean? Like
yeah, yeah,
being
yeah.
able to, well, I'm just saying like being able to, be okay with just feeling how you felt, just
Yeah, but I mean, since I came off of medication, antidepressants and benzodiazepines and whatever else I was on,
yeah,
I've had long periods of feeling like this, like really shitty, and it's and I knew I was like, I'm getting my feelings back for sure. I haven't felt, I felt like shit on the meds, but this is
yeah.
not. It doesn't mean I'm, depressed or my depression came back or anything. It just means this is life, and I need to learn how to deal with this. I need to learn how to be in this life, interacting with this life, interacting with people and my surroundings without these filters of drugs or thing,
Uh,
you
it's
know?
too bad it makes us so sick though to get off those medicines, because then there is like this unreality. Like you would have never been that sick had
No.
you not have you not numbed it for so long, like it's like your body's screaming like feel, 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 and you're
Right.
like no, 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 until it's like, literally like hitting you with a hammer. And then it's like,
Yeah.
then that hammer keeps going for 2, 2, 3 years, and you're like, oh no, it's been a long time. I want to feel better now. So
Right.
yeah, but you just, I mean, what are you gonna do? You can't, to get off antidepressants and to get to for the symptoms of getting off of antidepressants and benzodiazepines, you can't say, well, I can always take an antidepressant or a benzodiazepine, because I mean, you're just, yeah, it's really because then you're restarted. But yeah, that's a painful process. That's as we both know. I mean,
Well, for
extreme.
me, there's actually, I know a lot of people that do go back on the antidepressants even during the whole pain withdrawal process.
Right, but then
Um,
the whole
I,
point is missing.
and I
Then
wonder, for me, I was at rock bottom. I was like, I can't put another one of those pills in my mouth. There's just no way. I don't know what they have to go through, or maybe the pain is too much for them and they can't, they're not ready,
yeah,
which
I
is
think it's
fine
just you're
too.
you're not you're not ready. Like it's something you really, have to commit to, and just sort of convince yourself like I wouldn't have been this sick had I not, had I, just tried some, natural things, So you're like, you have to, like, I think people tend to say, I'm so sick. There's no way that this is right. I really, I can't feel like this for another second. And then they go
Right.
back to where before. But usually that first time they weren't in that bad a shape where, it's like they had, for the most part, I mean, I know there's some people, but for the most part, they weren't like this. It's either like life or death, basically, you know?
Yeah, I guess maybe it has to, for a lot of people, it has to get to life or death, but that sucks that it has to get there because I mean, I know even though, even in the throes of my worst withdrawal, I was like, I know my life, the experience I'm having of this life is much more genuine than it was while I was taking those drugs.
Yeah, but it is, that's, like we both, it's really rough.
Oh, it's brutal. So, I mean,
So yeah, I mean,
I-
I don't even know if we can, if that's, but let's just say, like, the comparison that Kelly Brogan said, she said, some of these patients, it resembles AIDS. And that's exactly what, I mean, I seriously was like, this is what HIV, I mean, there wasn't like a system in my body that wasn't, completely hurting,
I
and
I know it's
so
very,
it's
it
like,
can be very pain.
so it's like, yeah, I mean, it's like, how can you be that sick and not have something, like HIV or, like, but you can. Oh, you can. So
Yeah. Yeah, I know. So I hate to like I think also, I'm not sure, I want to say this, like, for both Renata and I pretty much cold turkeyed off of our medication, and that is not the route that I suggest anymore. I suggest a very long taper. And so I just, if anybody's listening to this, that like from experience and from working with people, it seems like when you do the long tapers, the it's not guaranteed, but a lot of the people seem to have an easier go of it and don't have these, like, they don't become completely debilitated.
yeah, I think it's just less of a, like, a major shock, and it is a shock to the system,
Right.
body. So I
So,
forgot what.
so that's something if anybody's listening and they're thinking about going off of our, we just scared them with our stories.
Well,
The
we didn't even say that much. Yeah. Oh,
No, we
oh,
didn't.
because I said AIDS. Yeah, like you're. But I mean, I wish I had some before and after pictures of now, because even though I'm not 100%, I'm at least 80%. And if
Yeah.
this is 80%, no, I'm just kidding. But it's like, I mean, having a 66-inch belly that was actually bigger before that, and being thick with, like, no muscle tone, and not my voice, not my muscles, and my my voice box or whatever it's called, and throat, not being able to speak. I mean, it was, like, come on, it's pretty, I don't know why, but yeah, it's really severe. So don't do that. You know what I mean? Don't do that, because you probably, and I wouldn't, I mean, I don't know how people don't die from it. I guess they probably do. Um,
I think a lot of people probably do, and they never even know what hit them. So I think the people that are cold turkeyed and aren't told, like there's a million people out there that never make it to the withdrawal community that we're in. So
yeah.
they're just like in the medical wilderness, not knowing what's wrong with them, and they're getting medicated with other pills like painkillers, all kinds of stuff, and they have no idea what hit them. None.
Yeah, I mean, it's a scary thought, but like when I went to the doctor, I mean, I couldn't even lift my hands enough to delete emails. I mean, I couldn't. How I made it there is somebody drove me, and like I could barely walk. I mean, I really couldn't. I couldn't
I
walk for
know.
more than like 20 yards. I mean, that was max. I mean, and that was like I'm gonna pass out now. And I was just laying there, and they're giving me fluids, and then the doctor suggested that I could have ALS, because I couldn't. And she said something like, I mean, that's like, what we're hoping isn't happening here. And, it's unlikely, it's very rare. And she didn't say ALS. She just said um, a, muscle destroying, I forgot what it was, muscle destroying, disorder that hits people around your age or something. And it didn't take too many Googles to figure out what she was talking about.
Right.
And luckily that didn't happen. But I mean, it's like, what and then what they gave me was fluids, and then told me that I was 40, I guess at the time I was 47 or 46, no, 47. And the one doctor just said, well, you're not on any medication, so I'm going to give you some medication for acid reflux. And I'm like, well, I don't even have acid reflux. And she's like, yeah, but it's kind of weird that you're not on medication at your age. And it's what? I mean, that's what she gave me. Like I didn't. I might have had a little bit of acid reflux without, but that's not what I went in there for. I didn't even say anything about acid reflux. And it's like, so basically, here you go. Let me just throw some random pills at you and say that, well, that's the problem. You're not on enough pills, or on any pills. So it's like, I mean, then I just went home and suffered for another year.
I know. Well,
It's just
the same
ridiculous.
thing sort of happened to me. I went to the doctor, and they thought this sounds a lot like MS.
Yeah. So
Yeah.
you're,
So I ended up going to get the whole brain scan to look at the shading of the brain and look for. But it was fine, thank God. I kind of knew though at that point. I knew what it was. But I did the brain scan anyway because I was so terrified. I mean, that's another thing. The
yeah, I
one of
still want to get the brain scan because I'm terrified of it. And and then they did diagnose me with mono, but I mean I was so run down. Of course I had mono. But anyway,
right.
sorry, go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think another one of the hallmarks of the withdrawal is that paranoia and terror about your health.
Well, yeah, because you're falling apart. It's impossible not
But
to think about, oh my gosh, something terrible is happening to me.
right, but it's like I think it's because your GABA receptors are so messed up, your whole central nervous system, that the terror is basically a million times more than it would be.
Oh yeah,
So,
yeah. Yeah, your rationale is gone and
right,
you're just just on high alert with everything.
right. So
But
that's
it's weird. It's like I never thought somebody was gonna come in the house like from the outside and murder me. You know what I mean? I wasn't
right,
like, it's like it really was health, because there was so many health problems. Like you're just
right,
like, well, why am I profusely sweating? Why am I so white? Why am I, like, why do I look so sick? Why do I feel so sick? So of course your mind is going to go to what's wrong with me. It's
right.
pretty radical,
Yeah.
really. Yeah.
I have heard though people they get the terror where they think something bad's going to happen to them as well. So it could be focused on your health, it could be focused on all kinds of stuff. I just know that terror is a big hallmark of the withdrawal process.
Yeah. There's this one woman, I didn't even understand this, but she, I'm not going to name any names, but she was afraid of the sky, and I didn't know what that meant. Like I thought, what? And she said that it's just always there. It's just so ever present. big, vast, scary thing, and it's just always there. Like I feel like it's, kind of keeping an eye on me, following me. And this was, like one of the irrational fears. I mean, I
Right.
guess it is up there, but I mean, like, why be afraid of it? But yeah, so I mean, there definitely was like these people had fears, and they were really strange fears, you
Yeah.
know,
Yeah.
like super where you just thought, okay, something weird is happening here. But I was like really, I was afraid of time
Right.
because I had no concept of it. So like I would, I'd go to take a shower when I like muster up the little bit of strength I had and take a shower, and my hair wouldn't even be wet. Like I'd get in and my hair wouldn't even be wet. And I thought I was in there for like, 2 hours.
Yeah.
And then I had to scramble out like, oh my gosh, who's taking care of the kids when it had only been like 30 seconds or a minute.
Right.
So it was really, I think I just sound totally crazy now, but it was one of the weirdest, most scary things that I've ever been through. And the time thing was really a big deal. And honestly, I still like, last night we were making cookies, and I put the timer on for 14 minutes.
Hmm.
And then I was talking to, Violet, and we had somebody else over, and I said, can this be right? Only I think it was 4 minutes had passed, because there's still 10 minutes left. And they said, yeah. And I said, no. And I thought that I had accidentally put like 34 minutes. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
that 4 to 6 minutes felt like, so it's something still like it's still off. But now I've
Yeah.
adjusted to where I'm like, okay, I know something's off. So I've only just adjusted because I'm like, okay, I know my time is off, my concept of time. But yeah, so I keep on adding all these little symptoms in here, but when we're not, this wasn't even our focus.
Yeah,
Sorry.
that's okay. No, I think I think a lot of it is neurological. So it's the way you
Yeah.
perceive things, the way you perceive in your body, you're perceiving the world, time. It's all these neurological problems, and I had like tons of them, tons of
Yeah.
neurological issues, very similar. And that's another one of the symptoms of, or the damage. It's not even a symptom, it's actually the damage that the drugs caused. I believe that it's the damage that the drugs caused.
Yeah.
They do this neurological damage. They don't know what those drugs do. They don't know.
Right.
There's no long-term studies, nothing. And from what we do know, the little bit that we do know, there it's quite possible that the drugs cause a lot more damage you know than is being reported.
Yeah, reported. And I think that, if you did, even if you were in a study and you said something like this, it's like, how do you even, like it's not really a measurable thing anyway.
No,
So
it's
it's,
not.
and like, having the sensation of like, your arm being pulled, it's like, well, that's not going to make it into the, like, this is what you look out for, when you're, withdrawing. So
Right.
it's such a random, yeah, so it should just be like neurological, disturbances or
Right.
something like.
Yeah, I
um
mean, mine, I looked up traumatic brain injury and I had all but one symptom of
yeah.
traumatic brain injury. So
Yep.
I'm like, this is basically TBI. And it
Right.
wasn't just the
But I had
minor,
even,
it wasn't minor traumatic brain injury, it was intermediate. It was like the more serious one.
right, and
Yeah,
yeah, and like my, like just having, complete muscle loss, like almost complete, like it was
right.
that. And I had noticed before, like when I knew people that had head injuries, I always like wondered why their body looked so different, like, and it's
Yeah,
sort of like kind of like you kind of go to flab, like you lose weight and you go to flab, and then like, they have to work like do physical therapy to get their muscles back up. And then, I mean, I just something that I noticed,
right.
and then when that happened, I did think to myself, and this is before I even talked to like you about this, I thought this is some kind of brain injury, like
Right.
some, where so many things are affected that you just think something's very, very wrong,
Oh yeah, you had the same thing as I did, where the complete and total muscle loss, and it was like my skin was like water just hanging off my body.
Yeah, it was like
Eh,
complete muscle atrophy, which,
right.
then I got diagnosed with, something that I've had my whole life, and that muscle disorder. And then it's like, well, let's just, when I went, then the neurologist was able to blame everything on that. But I mean, I've had that. I was born with it.
Right.
You know, so it's like, well, why is this happening now? So
Right.
it's
Right.
yeah, like it's sort of convenient to blame, like it's like almost like they're looking for an underlying health issue to explain it. And of course, whatever you have, they say, okay, well, that's the reason, you
Right.
know?
Yep. So yeah, it's interesting. Anyway, I don't know how we got. So we went. We've jumped from the subject of like our public appearance to there. We do have one person watching it. Maybe it's John.
It's
Um,
John. Hi, John.
hi, John. To
You
to
can't tell who's watching though, can you?
I I can't tell. I don't know. Whoever it is watching, say hi.
No, it's like I'm such a YouTube noob or whatever they're called that I don't even know. I don't really know how it
Well,
works.
I have a program I'm using that records our conversation, and it posts the comments in the side here, and then it also just says how many people are watching. And
Oh,
according,
can you share it with me or no? Like, can you like, or
no, I
you
can't.
have to
It's
tell me like one person's watching?
yeah. I guess maybe we should.
Wow, we're really hitting the huge audience here.
Well, this is our
Like,
first time doing this, so I was like I was hoping nobody really was going to be watching.
yeah, well, we might need to, and then we never even we didn't go back to what you were talking about of how you. So how do you feel today now? Like
So
what happened?
yeah, I was feeling really shitty this week, and the whole week I've been my head is like going, one of those things
Yeah,
where my I start getting like negative thoughts, and then they just go crazy, like
yeah,
they start cycling and like going faster and faster, and I'm believing them. I'm like, oh yeah, yeah, this is all, terrible stuff in my life. And then it took a couple days for it to sort of burn out. Like
yeah,
it used to take weeks. Now it takes a day or two. And and then after it burns out, I'm totally exhausted. It's like
yeah,
I feel terrible, I'm tired, I feel depressed, and but it's like it's okay, all of that, and I'm realizing that it's okay to even have those cyclical thoughts and stuff and kind of be there with them, and do whatever, like have people around that support me, and it's fine.
yeah, and yeah, like it just not just get through it, but just exist through it. Like
Right,
you
yeah, and
you
be there
still
with it, and I think that there's something to be learned. I mean, it's hard to like say, oh, this is valuable, like in the moment, because it doesn't feel valuable. But I think that all this stuff, these emotions and these like uncomfortable feelings, are really indicators of like, what I'm happy with or not happy with in my life as a whole, and
right,
what needs to be changed, and what I need to do, or what I need to do today, or whatever. And so it's like when I'm uncomfortable, it's usually about me. It's not about, it used to be, well, that person's doing this,
right,
or, but now it's like, well, wait a minute, what is it in me that I need to change? Really, that's what the bottom line is what is going on in me. And it's not always I need to change something, but maybe I'm
right.
seeing something in a way that's, well, first
Right,
of all,
yeah, like you need to reinterpret or interpret.
right,
Yeah, but sometimes it really is your like these signals are they're screaming because it's like,
right.
hey, you need to change something in your life.
Yeah, for sure. For
Yeah, you don't
totally.
need to swallow something to, like to
No, not yeah, I don't need like, a glass of CBD oil or a drink.
yeah,
I need to like really sort of examine something in my life and say, what is this all about? How can I make this, more acceptable?
yeah.
you
So
know
so
but
but
nothing anymore is that bad. Like it's not like it used to be. I'm not in some crazy abusive relationship. I'm not taking I don't need to quit anything. Like I needed to quit smoking for many years. I needed to quit, whatever, eating sugar, whatever. I don't need to do that. So there's nothing like I need to do. I'm not doing anything to hurt myself anymore. So all
right.
that's out of the way. And see, that was my focus for so many years that
Yeah.
I couldn't really like figure out the other stuff.
You could, well, you always had that to blame too,
Right. I always
you
had
know,
that to
so
blame. So it
you're
was
like,
always
well,
like,
like, my life would be so much better if I didn't drink. My life would be so much better if I didn't smoke. And
right.
then it's like, yeah, I mean, it does get better, but then you're like, oh wow, there's a lot left. Yeah, yeah, that I
Yeah, there's
probably
a real lot left. It's like, what do I like the existential quest never really goes away.
right.
No, it doesn't.
Yeah, you just like have, but having those periods where you actually do feel good
Right.
are worth going through the periods where you do feel bad to get there.
Right. So,
Um,
whereas I thought for many years the existential quest was almost like a curse, like, oh, hurry up and then figure it out, and then you're going to move on, and that part's going to be behind you.
Right. Yeah. That would be, I mean, I kind of wonder that too. Like if you're like maybe a person, I don't even know if a person exists, where they just didn't think about things. Like they weren't constantly questioning and sort of like, sort of in this place of like, I need to be doing something different or I need to be doing more. Like you were just like sort of like you just like had your job and you just went to it and then you had kids and it's sort of like you just did things without thinking. Sometimes it seems
Yeah.
like people do that. And then, you just wonder like, are they happier? But I don't know if I don't think those people exist. I think it's just I think people do think about, like they have maybe not as much as others, but I think that they do question like,
Yeah.
is this what I should be doing? Is this what I want to do? Or at least they question, is this what I should be doing? Maybe they're not questioning, is this what I want?
Right. Well, I think that there's a lot of people that think they're doing what they should be doing because
Right.
the whole culture set up, like they're doing everything that the culture told them that was the plan. Like, I got
Right.
a job, I got a retirement account, I got a this, I got a that, and everything's in, so they're like, well, why would I even bother asking those other questions? I got everything. And maybe they are happy, which is fine. I think that's fine, but I'm not one of those people. I'm always sort of on the quest,
Right.
which is, I need to accept that about myself. It's like, that's me.
Yeah, and maybe just stop trying to fix it, you
Right.
know?
Stop trying to fix it. Stop trying to judge it, and just be like, hey, I'm on the quest, and now it's time for the next thing, whatever that is. And to like go with it, just go with it.
Yeah, it's like it's hard to say, how like the whole thing about like being in the moment, which has become the last few years has gotten like bigger and bigger, like,
Yeah.
being mindful, right? And it's like, well, like I can be mindful in a moment, but I'm not really mindful like in a way that which like sort of like takes your mindfulness away. Like I'm not I need to like I still need to question. I still need to like sort of be seeking, but then again, it's like, I do want to be happy in the moment,
Yeah.
like so it's like this some sort of peace needs to happen.
Oh,
Like,
there's definitely
yeah,
a balance. So,
right.
and I think that's what, like, you can be on this quest at while being in that and try having moments that you're in the moment. I
Yeah.
I don't
I
think.
guess I think that like we're mindfulnessing away our, like our curiosity. So maybe that's it. Maybe it's more like but I mean, I do, and maybe it's just impossible for me to be really truly in the moment. Maybe that's what I'm fighting with here. Um,
I think
yeah,
that I don't know. I think it's hard for a lot of people, but I think there's definitely a balance where you're in the moment, or you're striving to be in the moment, but
right.
you're getting closer, and you have times where like, whoa, I mean, I was truly in the moment, not thinking about anything there,
Yeah,
and so, and those are really valued. Like, I'm like, when I go on my hikes in the woods and stuff, it's like, wow, this, I didn't think about anything except the trees or whatever, the birds, or whatever's around me. And
yeah.
those doesn't happen very often, and that takes a lot of practice. So I think practicing to have that is important as well. But like, is anyone in the moment all the freaking time besides for,
No, no, yeah,
yeah.
that's not really what I was trying to say.
Oh,
It's sort of like, but I know what you mean, but it's sort of like, um, I guess like I'm sort of looking for a way to maybe stop the seeking behavior, like
right.
of not seeking, pain relief. You know what I mean? Not
Right.
that kind. but like sort of, well, maybe it is really on a more existential scale, like, seeking this pain relief. Like maybe if I did this, then,
Right.
or if I changed this, or if I, stopped talking to so and so, or if I, got this job. But yeah, so it's that it's just it is a really, really strange, like it's a balance, and it's like, we just gotta figure it out, But really we never do, like you said.
Yeah, I think that you're right though. The existential quest can become a thing in itself, a habit.
Right,
Yeah,
right. So you have
another bad habit.
it's almost like in order to be not just like happy with yourself, but like in order to really enjoy your time with other people, you have to say, okay, time to stop. Like it's got a time and a place, and it's not now,
Right. Exact. Oh yeah, you do. You have to be like, I'm gonna go here and do this and not think about all this other stuff. But when you're in, I think when you're like, there's certain
Right.
periods in your life where that is harder than other times.
Yeah, like if you're going through something big.
Yeah, if you're really going through something big, like, you know, just whatever. If there's a death or there's, a
A
divorce,
divorce.
or
Yeah.
you're broke and losing, if there's a fire going on in your life, it's
Yeah.
yeah. So that, and I think that
Yeah.
for me there was always a fire.
Right.
So
Right.
it's like I'm trying to um and being on the quest, the existential quest is another
Yeah.
fire.
Yeah, right.
Yeah.
So yeah. So it's but yeah, I think that I'm still in the fire stage.
Yeah, I know. I think I'm just starting to get out of it, which is not, and it's not. I'm not always out of it. You know what I mean? But it feels like I have days now where I'm like, wow, everything is actually, good. I mean, it's good. It's fine. You know what I mean? Like I don't have a, like my wheels aren't spinning like in panic mode. You know?
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's good. So yeah, so this morning, like it's just like, okay, well, I'm just having a day.
Yeah, and
I'm,
it was. It felt like panic mode. Like I got to do something. Ah, you know.
yeah.
And it's,
I'm
but it's not.
I think, can we end the call
Yeah.
because
So yeah, it's been
I'm kind of I think next time I need to get like in a chair that has a back,
so
maybe.
we've been on for 50 minutes, and so you can watch. I'll send you the video afterward. Bye everyone. Have a good day.
Bye everyone. Bye Rose.
So
Bye.
I'm doing
Love
another one of
you.
these with
Love you, Rose.
I love you too. I'm doing another one with Amarjo Donovan on Sunday. Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Okay, bye.
Okay, bye. Bye.
Bye.
How do I don't know how to turn it off. Okay.
You're off.